Well, let's go ahead and jump in, and then if other people join, they can join as they come. So I'm Ashley. I'm with the client success team here. If I haven't had a chance to meet you yet, nice to meet you. You have to forgive my voice today. I'm getting over a little bit of cold. So if I have to mute myself and cough for a second, I'll be okay. I'll just be right back. But I'm a funeral director. I'm still a licensed funeral director. I practiced in Oregon for about 12 years and managed a multi-location firm out there that was primarily cremation. And then landed here at Parting Pro after being a user for several years of Parting Pro. That sounded funny, being a user. After being a Parting Pro, after using Parting Pro in our funeral home, and I needed a little bit more flexibility, it came to client success here at Parting Pro. So welcome again. I'll let Andrea also introduce herself here.
Yes, again, my name is Andrea. I am also a part of the client success team. I used to work in the funeral home industry for several years as well, mostly on the marketing side, but I did do some family services also, and I've been with Parting Pro now for about 4 years. And I'm glad that we're all here, that we could talk about this awesome new feature. And then, of course, at the end, we'll definitely let you guys know how to get in touch with us. And then you can also ask any additional questions if you have any, whether it's related to what we're talking about today or something else. Asking, I would be more than happy to get an answer to you.
Absolutely. So this month's AMA, we decided to focus heavily on our tasks since it's a new feature and it's there's a lot to it. We wanted everybody to have a chance to ask any questions they've had, understand how to use it so you can really get the most out of it. So we're going to start with kind of a general overview of the tasks, and then I'll show you a Parting Pro dashboard and how to do some of this customizing. And then we'll open up for general questions, but feel free and ask questions along the way too. This is supposed to be just a casual ask me anything session. So feel free at any point to ask questions. So we're going to review first off the new task templates. So how to create the tasks and the templates, and then how to populate the task lists, and then how to organize tasks and subtasks as well. So we've basically moved from, we used to have what was called the checklist tab, and you could go in there and add checklists. So we've moved from having the checklist that had to be updated for every single case. So once you had your checklist, you couldn't really customize it other than manually for every single case. So the big difference here is that you can have task templates that can be customized for different needs. So you could have, a direct cremation task template that's going to be applied to all your direct cremation cases. You could have a, full traditional template that's more burial based. And instead of having to do all that customization in your checklist itself within the case, you can do that at a bigger level and just apply that template to your case. So it's much less manual work. What you're looking at here is 2 standard templates that we've kind of preloaded for everybody as some examples. So you do have a sample task list. And this was just an example to kind of get you started, help you visualize what the task list could look like and how it's going to work. And then the converted checklist would be the task list that you already had. So if you had reached out to us and had us customize your checklist prior, or you had our standard checklist, that's still there. So we didn't want to get rid of it. So that's called the converted checklist. So that's what we're looking at here. And after I go through a few slides here, I'll show you where all of this is and how to do the customization as well. And then kind of what I mentioned, you now have the ability to apply these templates within your tasks. So this was a minor change. This tab here within your case used to be called checklist. It's now called tasks. But once you go into a new case, you'll have the ability to apply a template. So whether you've got 2 templates or 5 or 10 templates, you'll see all of those templates as options so that you can populate those, based on the services the family's getting, based on what you're offering, anything like that. You'll be able to select that and apply that directly into the case, instead of having to customize each one. And then you can also, once you've applied the template, organize the tasks and subtasks. So if there's something specific that doesn't apply for a case where you've applied a template, you can remove it, you can reorganize things so that you can customize even further within that case task list. And then this is showing you where and how to customize your checklist. And I'll show you how to do this too, but basically you've got within your settings, you've got your task templates. So you can create your templates here, and you can customize not only just your templates, but also your statuses. So if you wanted to have different statuses available for your tasks, you can do that too. These are just some tips on how to effectively use the tasks. What I would suggest is that you customize kind of a standard task list that's going to work for the majority of your cases. So if you're a cremation provider, and you are only doing cremations, then you might be able to get away with having one standard cremation checklist. But I would make one based on, what the things that are going to be done for every single case. So regardless of the case, you're going to file a death certificate, you're going to need to do a removal, like those really, really basic things that are going to apply to every case. That's how I would start your task list. And then you can duplicate that and then add on additional things. So if I've got my base, I've got my order my death certificates, do my removal, get my doctor's approval, all of that. When I need to now change that and maybe make it work for a viewing family too, all I really need to do is add the viewing tasks. I don't need to recreate my base. And that is how you would create additional task lists based on your services. And then I would just be sure to use intuitive names for your templates. So, your team can quickly understand what it is that which task template they need to apply. And then I think adding details in the description is something that will be really helpful too. And I'll go ahead and show you those things. So Andrea, did you have anything to add while I kind of switch up things here for the presentation?
When you were talking about how you could rename the priorities for the task, could you give some examples? Because I know the default that people have is just high, low, medium. What are some things that you've seen that may be a little bit more effective than that?
Sure. So let me get in here really quick to show you where we're going to actually do this customization, and then I can go over those statuses. So in your Parting Pro dashboard, what you'll do to customize your tasks is you'll come up here to where your name is, and then you're going to choose the settings menu. And then in your settings menu, this is where you can basically do all your customization. So if you've got, your forms, all the email templates are going to be here. And then right below, you're going to have your task settings. So I'll click on templates here. This is showing the, converted checklist in that sample task list. So let's click into the sample task list. And again, this was just an idea to give everybody a visual on what this could look like, but I would use this as like my base task list. So if I know I'm going to do a removal for every call, regardless if it's cremation, burial, traditional, non-traditional, authorizations, death certificates, we're going to file my SS 721 for everybody. Maybe I want to put my order merchandise in here as well. And then if this is going to be cremation, then these are the things that I would do for my cremation. So this is how I would start doing your very basic template. Now, you can use this if you'd like. So we could come in here and change things out. So maybe my inventory belongings, I want to say that's going to be my high priority. So I'm going to change the priority on this. And again, you're changing this at the template level. So when you apply this template, all of these things here are going to be exactly how they appear here. Maybe you need to actually add another subtask in here. You can go ahead and add that. And again, this is all going to be based on your own processes, right? So whatever you need to add for your process, I would suggest you do for the template. So now that I've added that additional task, that's going to fall under my removal. Excuse me, that was a subtask. The task is the, bigger one here with the subtasks below. You can also add tasks. So you can come in here, change the priorities if you need to, add different subtasks, add different tasks if you need to. So let's say we need to change some of these. Just try and give you some examples here. And now if I've got my base, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm done editing here. This is going to be my base template. I'm going to go back to my templates here. Now, when I want to create another template, I don't have to start from scratch. You can start from scratch and click add template here. But what you can also do is just duplicate the existing template. So again, if I've created my base template, that's going to work for the majority of my cases. What I'm going to do then is just choose this one from the 3 dots and click duplicate. It's going to ask you, are you sure? And then you have that duplicated version here where you can go in and add additional things. So if I now need this to be for, maybe it's going to be my cremation and viewing services, I'm going to add another task here that is going to be my viewing. And maybe I'm going to add my subtasks right here too. So maybe I need to reserve viewing room. Maybe I need to schedule the staff who's going to work the viewing. So you can make this as detailed as you want to here. In this description, I do think this is an area where you can utilize this to give staff some more context for things too. Or if it's just something you need to your staff to remember when you are doing a viewing. Maybe it's that, the large viewing room is never available on Mondays. So this is where you can build in that additional context for the team, kind of those reminders for everybody that are going to live here. So when they come into that template, they have that reminder as well. You can change priorities on any of these things right in the creation of the task. And I can go ahead and create that. And you can see it automatically comes to the very top of my list. Well, if you like things in order and you're going to do your removal first and you're going to get your authorizations first, you can just drag this to wherever you want it to be within that template. And you can continue editing here. So you can add more subtasks. You can delete things. So maybe this is not going to be for my cremation cases. So I'm going to come into this one. And then I would just delete this whole section of tasks and associated subtasks. Now that's gone, and maybe I want to add in some more burial specific things. You can go ahead and do that here too. Any questions so far on that?
No, and where would the statuses be?
Yeah. So I'm going to come back out of the templates really quick. So the priority is going to be the priority for the task. And then the statuses are going to be right over here on the left. So you've got templates and statuses. So statuses, you can go ahead. You've got 3 categories for your statuses. You've got not started, started, and then complete. So you can add anything you'd like to here. So you can add multiple statuses. So this waiting on family is one that I had added. Maybe I want to have that alert that it's kind of started, but there's a delay and we're waiting on the family for something. Another one maybe that I would think would be helpful is like canceled or not applicable. Sometimes if you want to know that it wasn't just done, like it's not a task that was actually done, it was actually canceled because it wasn't needed for whatever reason on that particular case. If you like to have that differentiation, you can mark that canceled as a status. It's still going to complete it. So it's like off of the plate. It's not alerting that it needs to be done, like the to do or the started. So canceled would be another one that you could add. You can also add in descriptions here. So canceled, should be used in task, something along those lines. You can also adjust the colors. So if you want to control the colors and you wanted that to be blue instead of the red, you can do that. And then if you've put it in the wrong category, maybe that wasn't supposed to be completed, you can also adjust that right here and just move it to maybe your started or not started section. And then you would just save that. And then you can see my color had changed here too. Any questions on that?
No, that's interesting. I wasn't actually aware about the color change, so I learned something new today myself.
Yeah.
So that's
Nice.
cool.
Yep, you can change those colors. So let me show you how to actually like apply this to a case. So I'm going to go back to my cases here. And I'm just going to go into a case I've already created. And then I'm going to click on my tasks. Now from here, there's nothing that it doesn't automatically apply it, but all you have to do is select this. So I forgot to rename this, but I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But if I want to apply the template I just created, you can see it just pops that right in there. And then if you've accidentally applied the wrong one, let's say we wanted our sample task list, you have a couple of options here. So you can actually add lists on top of lists, if that makes sense. So if I wanted to add my sample task list to be in addition to the one I've already applied, you could just say add to existing list, or you could replace the whole thing. Now, one other way that these could be used is if you wanted to stack task templates, for example, and you had your very basic, has to be done for everybody, no matter what. That's like file the Social Security, get the death certificates, do your removal. You can have your absolute basic list and then create smaller lists to stack. So what you could do is I'm going to apply my sample task list or my cremation or my basic task list. And then I would have like a viewing task list. I would have a burial task list. Those are going to be shorter, and then you can just stack them on top of this one. So that would look like using a converted checklist and saying add to existing list. Now what's going to happen is that this added in addition to my other one. So it added all these additional tasks that were not in my original one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. I wasn't aware that you could stack either. So I have some clients I know will appreciate that because they had some lists that were kind of getting a little bit out of control. So I think the stacking may be a better option.
They can get really long. So to rename this one that I forgot to rename originally, I'm just coming back into my tasks, and I would just say viewing task list. So if we wanted to use that, like just as a scenario here, I'm going to delete all things that are not viewing, because these are all already going to live in my basic task list. Okay. And now, you can add whatever you have for your viewing, but let's say that is our viewing task list. And I would go back to my cases. And then we create a new case. And then now when you're in your tasks, you would apply your sample task list. Again, you can rename that to what you want it to be, but I've got now my basics. These are my things I'm doing for every case, no matter what. And now when I understand this family is going to do a viewing, I can just stack that and add to my list. So I've got all my basics, and then at the bottom here, I've got my viewing. You still have the ability to drag and drop things. So if you wanted to move things up here, you can. You still have the ability after applying a template to add tasks and remove things. So if for, this certain family, maybe we're mailing the death certificate. So maybe I want to just update that to canceled. Maybe I just want to delete that tasks or subtasks. So I come in here to my actual task. You can delete that. Things that don't apply, you can still delete. You can still add additional subtasks or tasks after you've applied the template as well. And then the other thing that you'll see within tasks is you'll have a little snapshot of who created this. So I'm logged into this dashboard as parting admin. So it's showing me, I created the task August 21st at 12:21. So you have a little bit of an indicator of when things were created. I believe that's going to update as well when things are completed. Let me just verify that. I'm going to save that. Yeah, so parting admin change status from to do to waiting on family. So you do have a little, you have some indicators of when things were done, who's done them, in case that's helpful for you. So you will see when things were created, when things were changed in status as well. Now, one thing I think that can be helpful, and it's kind of getting into those notes again, but for example, on merchandise, if you have certain things that you're doing with merchandise, so ordering from certain vendors or have some things that need to be noted, like the thing that comes to mind is if you've got multiple vendors and you always have to email one and you always have to call the other, you could say for XYZ vendor, remember, we have to email. For ABC vendor, we have to call. That way, again, if you do this at your template level and you save that, whenever staff is coming in here using it and they open up that, they always have that little reminder. So that is a way to build in more context and direction for how things need to be done. So I would use this to do that. And then I think for the, standard template and stacking, I would probably just evaluate what's going to work best for you and your team. But those are two different options on the way that you can use those templates. Any questions?
And again, you guys can talk out your questions by unmuting yourself, or you can just chat your question as well, and we'd be more than happy to answer. And if the question is not related to what we're talking about, that is fine as well. We're here to answer any questions that you have in regards to Parting Pro.
Yeah. While maybe you're thinking of questions, I'll just let you know too, our team is already working on version 2 of this. We don't have a date for when that will be released yet, but we are continuing to build on top of this so that you will have the ability to assign staff members, team members to certain tasks or subtasks. And then you'll also have the ability to add dates to things. So that is coming, as well as being able to have a global view. So a view of all of the tasks for all of your cases, so that you don't have to go into each case individually to see what tasks are needed for each one. So you have a separate tab that will be able to show you all of the different tasks for all of your cases, and kind of filter those down to really specifically see your tasks for the entire dashboard instead of just case by case. So that is coming. And also, if you haven't used the tasks yet, or when you start, if you've got any feedback on it, we're always open to that too, as we're trying to learn what everybody really needs, and if they if this is meeting their needs, or what other things you'd like to see from tasks. Definitely let us know as well. You're always welcome to reach out to Andrea and I. We have a general email that's just success@partingpro.com, which you're always welcome to reach out to us, or reach out to us individually too. But yeah.
And if anyone wants to schedule a coaching call and actually have one of us go through and help you create your task list, we're more than happy to do that. Do you want me to put the link to that in the chat?
Sure, that'd be great.
Where they can schedule that? Okay.
Yeah, we'll put our email address too.
Because sometimes especially when you're working on your first list, it can be a little bit challenging to remember all of these different little features that'll work.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and put a link to where you guys can schedule directly with Ashley and I. We could actually go through your standard process for the majority of your cases and help you with that. And then, of course, remind you on how to stack, change colors, little things like that. We do find that the task list, even though it is an optional thing for you to use, we do find that our clients who are using the checklist and have now migrated over to the task list, they are consistently getting very high star reviews from families, because as most of us are working, we are having other team members help with certain things. And if we're relying on sticky notes and just the whiteboard solely, it can have some things lost in communication, etc. And so when the families are feeling as though we're not every staff member kind of up on what's going on, that can make them feel a little bit less secure. But if every staff person knows that they can go on the checklist and see exactly, or the task list, exactly where everyone is in the case, they can give consistent information to the families. And it just seems very cohesive that you guys are together and on it. And so that can translate into a high review. And we all know how much those Google reviews matter. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you just maybe just click on Frank Flintstone there, just so I can see what your case generally looks like?
Sure. Yep, so the email tab's going to have kind of when that case, when either the proposal email's been sent to the family, or if they've completed the checkout, when that was done too. Did you just want to kind of have me click through the different areas here?
Yeah, if you would, please.
Sure. Yeah. So this is kind of our old task list. I haven't updated to the new template here. So ideally you'd see, these in progress or completed.
Gotcha.
My notes, this is an area I would use to just stay on top of things. So contacted family, about removal, whatever that needs to be in the
I
header
get that.
note.
I get that.
Okay.
Let me see your forms.
Forms, okay. Yeah, so
Send or print, please.
Say that again?
Send
He wants
or
us
print.
to hit the send or print.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay.
You want me to go ahead and send one?
Yeah, let's just see what.
Okay. So I'm going to choose my recipient who's in my drop-down menu.
Gotcha.
Now, if I need to add another recipient, I can go ahead and add a second recipient here too.
Right.
So I would just choose my second recipient. I would just add in an email if I didn't have it. And then once I hit next, it should show me the forms that are available.
There you go. Okay. Right. So we're doing okay.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
I just wanted to, I'm a visual kind of guy. Just wanted to make sure we're good.
That's actually a common question, is how to get all the way to the forms, because I feel like
I mean, that's the way I go.
yeah. Yeah, that is the only way, but I just feel like generally the expectation is that they're right here, but you actually have to select those recipients first and then
Mhm.
see the forms. And part of the reason is to understand how many recipients we're sending this to, so we know if that form that you want to send can actually be sent to that many people.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other things I can go over for you?
And again, guys, you can ask questions about anything.
Mhm.
It could be just a scenario that you went through with the family recently and just want general like funeral customer service advice, etc. It doesn't have to necessarily be related to the Parting Pro software itself.
Mhm.
A lot of times people like to ask about dealing with, low cost price competition coming into the market, whether or not someone should consider lowering their package price or not. So things along those nature. We'd be more than happy to share any insights or any trends that we're seeing.
Actually, actually, I have one.
Mhm.
Okay, so I have a family that was out of town, needed to do everything online. Sent them the complete intake packet, everything. But they weren't the ones that were going to actually pay for it. So they selected all their merchandise and all that they wanted to do, but at the end they could not submit because there was no payment in an invoice.
Got you.
That makes sense?
It does make sense, yeah. So if I'm understanding you right, they went through your store, you
Mhm.
selected all of their services and merchandise, but when they got to that last screen, it was asking for payment, but since they weren't the ones paying, they couldn't actually submit that arrangement,
Right. So what I
right?
wound up doing was and it just created confusion with the
Sure.
family. But what
Yeah.
I wound up doing was I just sent them an intake packet, and then I contacted the person that was going to
Mhm.
pay, and I did a control P on the invoice to print
Mhm.
out what it was that they were buying,
Mhm.
and had to
Sure.
reset it up. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, so there's actually, yeah, two different things that you could do. We do offer the option for at-need cases to have a pay later option, which when the family would get to that very last screen, instead of forcing a payment, it would allow whoever's going through to choose pay later. That makes it so that you still get that entire arrangement. So you understand what they've chosen in their checkout. You still get all that information, and then you would clarify with the family, who's paying. You would already have that checkout, and you would be able to generate an invoice and send it to the family member or whoever is going to pay for that arrangement, and then you'd send your documents to the family that's going to authorize. So you can segment things within a case, so
So
that pay
I
later
have to set
option.
up a pay later invoice.
It's
No,
actually a
it's not an
setting in your
invoice.
store.
Yeah, it's a
Let me show
setting.
you. Let me show you.
Okay.
So when they get to the checkout screen, just bear with me as I click through these options here. Use my standard Fred Flintstone here.
Hi, Darlene. Thank you for joining. We're right now just doing our basic Q&A, and we're going over an option. Joe here asked how having a pay later option in the at-need will look like. So Ashley is just going through our demo store and going to show what that can look like. So sometimes you have families who want to go through the online store at need. However, they're not ready to pay or someone else is paying. And if you have that pay later, we're looking at that right now.
Yeah, so it looks like this, Joe. So the I want to pay now is automatically selected. So the family does want to pay, they can go ahead and put their credit card information in, their billing information in. If you're using the authorizing agent feature, they can choose that. For the family that gets here and it's like, oh, I wasn't planning on paying for this right now, or, you know, a friend is paying for it or whatever, they choose, I want to pay later. And then all they'll need to do here is put in their first and last name, their email address.
Oh, okay, so it's there already.
Well, we'll check your store because it is an optional setting. So
Right.
if this is something, if you like this option, we can turn it on for you.
Yeah, let me talk to the powers to be if they want to
Okay.
allow me to do that.
Okay. And then
But
also
I
this
get
is
that now.
nice.
Thank you so much. That really
Oh, sure.
clarifies a lot.
Well, I was gonna say too, I was just gonna add to Joe, if it's the reverse, right? You've got the person that's paying. So the person that's paying has gone through your store, but they're not the authorizing agent. That's what this will capture for you. So if it says, are they the authorizing agent? They can open this up and say, well, how do I know? Okay, they've got the context to understand if I'm the authorizing agent. And they could say, actually, I'm not. And then they would be able to put in the information for that authorizing agent, tell you what their relationship is, and then submit that information. So you still get that complete arrangement. You just have that additional alert that, oh, I'm going to have two people that I'm dealing with here. You got one that's going to do your payment, and then you've got one that's going to authorize your services. So then when you come back into your case, you've got the case that's just come in. It's an at-need direct cremation. And then what I'm going to do is when I go into my payment screen here, and when I generate my invoice, I have a little alert here. It's like, oh, hey, just so you know, the authorizing agent is different from the informant. So you've got that. But then you would generate your invoice, send it to the person that's paying. And then when you come into your forms, you're just going to send your forms to the authorizing agent instead of
Right.
the person that's paying. So that's
Right, I
another
get
way you
that.
could do it too.
Hey, go back to that payments again.
Mhm.
All right, so go down to general, yeah, generate invoice.
Okay.
Okay, you saying I can send that?
Yeah. Yeah. So what you would do is click generate invoice. What
Right,
this is going to do is it pulls in everything from that checkout.
right,
You can still add line items here. So, you know, sometimes there's a change in services after you've talked to the family. So you can delete items here. You can change quantities. You could add line items. So pulling this up is going to pull in your catalog. And, you know, maybe we need to charge for, maybe they wanted a keepsake after all. So we'd add that keepsake in.
all right,
Now, when I hit next, I'm going to be able to choose who to send this to. So if it
got
is
it,
the person who went through the store, I just choose them and then I can send that to them.
got it. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Helps a lot.
Good.
Hi, Dean. We're doing a general Q&A right now. So if you have any questions, whether it's related to funeral home process and advice, or actually related to the Parting Pro software, we're just taking those questions in the segment. We did go over the task feature, which will post this video so you can go back and watch that. It looks like Darlene says that most funeral homes have a software system to input cases. Parting Pro is separate from this. We are finding that we are duplicating our efforts for these cases because we must enter the case into our system when they come in person to do arrangements. So Darlene, are you saying that when someone is coming through the online store, that case is showing in Parting Pro, but then you have a separate system as well for case management that you're having to manually enter in? Is that correct?
Correct, she said.
Correct. So with Parting Pro is not right now a case management system. It really is designed for specifically handling your online store clients. A lot of our customers do not have secondary case management systems because we do have a huge customer base that is really just using Parting Pro to focus on their low-cost cremation product or their direct cremation. So you are correct. There is going to be a little double entry that happens if you have a secondary system that you're using. We are working. Do we have the full integration yet with Presari at all, Ashley?
Yeah, the Pasari integration is up and working. So if by chance you are using Pasari as your secondary system, we do have the ability to push information over to Pasari, which would eliminate the duplicate entry.
Who are you using, Darlene, for your case management? Oh, okay, yeah. We don't have integration with Halicon, unfortunately. We're always open, just to let you guys know, to integrate with case management systems. It just has to be a dual party agreement. So if you have a software company that you would love for us to integrate with, it's important to reach out to them and let them know that. And if they're open, we had a lot of customers who are with Pasari. They wanted the integration with Parting Pro. So it was allowing Parting Pro and Pasari to get together and sit at the table and make that happen. So Parting Pro is always open to making the process as easy as possible. We're not gatekeepers in any way. So if you have a software that you're loyal to, definitely reach out to developers on that side and see if they'd be willing to work with our team. And we would see what we can do to get a possible integration going. But I think they need to hear directly, the software on your side needs to hear directly from their customers. Obviously, if we ask to do it, that's really not an incentive for them. But if they can hear from their clients that their clients would enjoy that, they're more likely to reach out to us and work with our team to get that integration set up. Okay, perfect. Any other questions at all? Again, it doesn't have to be related directly to the software. It could be what we know as far as what's going on with the market right now in the funeral industry. Anything that you just kind of want to kick around, feel free to let us know and we'll be able to answer that. Otherwise, we'll probably go ahead and proceed with closing out the meeting.
Yeah, and so we'll just give a minute or two for anybody else to ask any other questions. But yeah, just again, in kind of feel free always to reach out to us. Like Andrea had mentioned earlier, we're happy to jump on a call to go over whatever questions that you may have. It doesn't have to be, in an AMA. If you find that it's helpful just to talk on the phone as well, feel free to reach out and we're happy to help you with whatever you need assistance with. But
and then we did include the link to the coaching call. So if you want to schedule what we like to call a coaching call, please use that link. If you don't have it and want to reference it later, like I said, hit up customer support and request it. And Ashley and I would be more than happy to get on a call with you. It'll be a Zoom call. You can share your screen and we can actually go through what you are dealing with in your process. And we might be able to see if there's some little tips and tools that you're not aware of that can make your staff time a little bit more efficient.
And we will send out this recording to everybody who joined. If you wanted to see our previous AMAs, those are available in the Parting Pro Help Desk under our events. So we do have the previous sessions here. We'll add this one here as well, so that you can revisit if needed. And then for those that attended or registered, we'll go ahead and email the recording as well.
And you can always access the Parting Pro Help Desk by the question mark in your upper hand toolbar. It's right next to the search bar. You'll see a question mark right there, and that will take you into our help desk. There's so many resources in there, video tutorials, all kinds of things. So please, if you're a self-learner, feel free to use that. And like I said, if you like to be more visual and want to engage, definitely schedule a call with myself or Ashley. We're always here to help.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank
All
you,
right, thank
everybody.
you so much. We appreciate everyone.
All right.